Hello everyone, welcome to session season of AI, and today we are excited to have Nasreen ma'am with us, who will be delivering a powerful session on AI and MCP. If you are looking to stay ahead in the world of MCP, this is a session you won't want to miss. So without any further delay, I would like to invite speaker ma'am to take us on this exciting journey of AI. Ma'am, please continue.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the session today. My name is Nasreen, and I am a consultant at Microsoft. And today I will be walking all of you through this MCP session that we will talk, where we will talk about the MCP server and further deep dive into it. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Can I get a confirmation if my screen is visible? Thank you. So let's start. Let's walk through the agenda first. So first, we will definitely understand what is MCP, how it works, and how do we use it. Further down, we will explore the various features. We will do a deep dive of the MCP features. Then we will also take up a real world scenario where we will walk through the Microsoft Learn MCP server. We can just pick up this use case and show how work it out in action. Then for the building of an MCP server, we will take up a Python application, which we can, like it is like a assistance. It will be an assistant app that will help you learn Python, right? So we will cover most of the things in that particular demo. And for the tutorial, this is the link that we will use today, and the entire session, the demos will be worked out using Python, right? That is basically the agenda for the next 1 hour. Now let's start. So agentic coding is something we are all talking about, and we are all talking about AI pair programmers. So we recently have seen a shift, right, in AI assisted coding, where initially we used to interact with our GitHub Copilot client, ask them questions about our code, about various code completions and so on. Now, what we have in Visual Studio Code, in Visual Studio, or any other IDEs, right? We have the agents which are, helping us, and hence we are calling them as AI pair programmer, correct? That is the word that we use, because they are like, your pure peer reviewer in your entire programming, development, etc., documentation, and so many things. While this shift is happening, but there is also a piece that you can say is missing, and that we are talking. That piece is the context, right? So how do you tell Copilot, that you are trying to connect to external databases, or you are having issues with a few GitHub repos, right, that are basically not integrated? And so how do you fix PRs in those particular repositories and so on? And how can we connect how can we connect it to the tools and resources that are basically not part of the IDE? So the entire conversation here is like, what do we do about that missing context, right? So that is what these are the questions, right? How do we find out that real time context, and help uh, understand the Copilot agent, that we need to go ahead and also connect and get the context surrounding the surrounding context basically. So that is where the need for model context protocol arises. So we just have a look at the timeline. So this is like, we all know, whenever we are talking of agent creation, agent performance, various tools are required, and they are an integral part. Now, Initially, so when I say integration chaos, basically, so developers have been working to come up with various solutions to integrate with different external tools and capabilities. But with every integration, there comes its own challenges, right? You will need to have your custom extensions, plugins. For instance, say suppose you want to connect to an external database, so you would have to take into consideration all the data sources and everything. So that is the integration chaos that it depicts. Now, the next part, how is MCP helping us, right? So that is where to bring in the context, to bring in the integration part, to make it easy, is what we are saying, that the model context protocol is the standard which is helping us, right? That is where the MCP comes into picture, basically. um, Moving on to the next. So MCP servers, they provide a standard way. You can say it's a protocol to connect our models, basically LLMs, with the various data, the tools, and the various resources that are required. So the analogy is that yes, it is like a universal connector, but it is just not for physical devices, but it is for all the AI driven applications, right? And in a overall, what MCP actually is. Now, talking further about MCP. So yes, it was created by Anthropic. It has come up as a very, the important thing to remember is that this model context protocol, right? It is adapting and evolving as and when, with the changing landscape in AI. So as it was created by Anthropic, and then but the entire AI community is basically evolving together and adopting it. So that is the overall overall view of MCP. Now we will go down further into the details of what are the various parts that are there in MCP, and how they work along with each other. So the first thing is host. As we understand, as we see the icons, right? These are the integrated development environments that are basically used, right, for any sort of development. So those are the host. This is the first main part of your MCP. So um, next, we have clients. So these are like protocol clients, which sometimes are same as the host, but it is basically maintaining a one-to-one connection, right? So client can be your co-pilot agent, and so on, right? Then the third main is the server, the basically the MCP server, which helps integrate both. So these are the lightweight programs and the servers that can expose specific capabilities through the standardized MCP. So you can build your own servers. You can. There are many already, available. So that is where the servers come in. So basically, the request from the host is catered via the servers to the clients. So here are the parts of MCP. Now, let me take a pause and check if we have any comments or questions. Okay, I don't see anything in the chat. Let me go back to the presentation. Now, let's dive deeper into MCP. Right. So we talked of host, we talked of client, and we talked of the server. Now, next is what are the various further, if you segregate it further, like so you see that you have your MCP client, right? So the three important things that we are talking about here are tools, resources, and prompts, right? So you see on the screen, there is this MCP client which is basically invoking the tools. It will query for resources and it will interpolate the prompts. The server, it is exposing all of it, right? The tools, the resources, the prompts, etc. So going further, like, let's understand, what tools, how can we relate these three things with. So tools are basically functions. You can call them as functions that are basically called by the model, invoked by the model. They are model controlled, right? Retrieving, searching, sending a message, updating records, all of these are model controlled. And these are the like functions that we are talking about under tools. Next, we have resources. So this is resource. Basically, it is data that is exposed to application, your API response, database records, files, etc. Right, and this is controlled by the application, right? Because and end of the day, it is the data of the application that we are talking about under resources. Then we have prompts. Prompts are user controlled, and they are the templates, or they are the predefined templates that we are using, or predefined how we are interacting with our AI model, right? So it is either a document, transcript, summary, the output as a JSON. So those are those fall under prompts. So tools, resources, and prompts, these are the three things that will finally come together when we will try to build the Python buddy app during our demo. So let's go further, a little bit further detailed into tools. So as I called out, tools are your functions, right? That are actually invoked by the LLMs, sending emails, running any tests, filing any issues, bugs. So it basically these are the function calls, these are the functions that are being called by the LLM. The next one is resources. As I said, this is the data part, which is controlled by the application. So be it your database schemas, images, files, documents, all of it falls under resources. We will have a better understanding as we deal with the demo in the coming slides. Next is prompts. So these are, the prompt as we use to interact with the AI agents. So they are like reuse. You can call them as reusable. They will have placeholders. You can generate them dynamically, and so on, right? Um, so, if so that was the overview of MCP. We have looked into the three components of it, and then we have also, checked the prompts, the the resources, prompts, and your tools that will all come together, right? When you try and build a MCP server. So the learning content that I am following for this lab or for this demo is mentioned here, right? So first we will do the demo part wise. First, we will, have an understanding of the setup. I will walk you through the setup README. I have set it up in my environment. So I'll walk you through the setup. Then we will slowly move to understanding prompts, resources, and tools separately, and then how the whole thing comes together, right? So I will switch to my Visual Studio Code, right? So before this, let's quickly have an understanding of the setup, right? So for this, the link is provided already, right? It is Let's Learn MCP Python. And I would quickly want to go through the setup of the entire, for this entire lab. So the project is in a Python environment. So the IDE that I'm preferring is Visual Studio Code, which, I already have. The next is you need to have a Python version which is 3.12 or later. So you can go ahead and install. First, you can verify the installation, and if it is not available, you can upgrade it or you can install your Python, right? Then there is also a Python extension that is needed for your VS Code. So under extensions, you can go ahead and install your Python extension. UV is a like very fast packaging project solution that Python uses. So that is what we are leveraging for this particular project, right? So you install UV. Now there is a virtual environment that comes, right, that is associated, where you will have all your packages installed, all your libraries installed. That is what we call as .venv, right, in case of Python. So we uh, we will be using venv, so you can go ahead and we create the virtual environment folder, and then for based on your OS, you can go ahead and activate it as well. And then the various packages that are required, you can use UV sync to install the packages for required for this virtual environment, right? So we did walk through MCP and the key benefits. I Here we have an architecture overview, right? So basically this is the AI assistant VS Code is the host that we were talking about, right? This is the host. Then we will have a MCP server. Basically, it is taking the example of the Python app that we are going to build. Okay. And then our services. These are the business logic, like whatever, business logic you will have for the particular, your overall scenario. This is how the flow looks like. Yeah. So this is the part of the setup. Now, the very first thing that comes up is to build a MCP server. For that, let's try and understand this part. I will also show this in my code, but this is a more simpler, setup. So the very first step, right, once you have all your prerequisites, once you have all your virtual environment ready and everything, the first is to set up your MCP server. So this server setup that you see, this code piece will be like a server.py file, right, where you first import, right, from fast MCP you import it, and then this is what this line creates your MCP server. MCP concepts demo, this is the name of the server, right? And then there will be further things that will be added here, like tools, resources, prompts, whatever you need for the app that you are that you are trying to deliver, right? And then finally this last piece of code is basically to run the server, right? You can do pip install MCP, and that is how you install it. But this is a main server.py file, or whatever name you want to give, to install a MCP server. Now, while this looks like a simple setup, we will now move on to the actual the point where we will go ahead and set up this Python buddy application, right? So Python buddy application, we will see now. So as you can see in my Visual Studio Code, right? So we the very first thing that so the server.py, this is the file where you will actually explain using which you actually create your MCP server, right? We did see you first import, then this is where you are creating your MCP server, correct? This is where the name comes in. Now here in this server.py, we have multiple, all the three components that I was explaining earlier. So if you see, this part is basically the tools. It is using the MCP tool decorator, right? And this entire code is for the tools part, right? Functions that can be called by the LLM. Then we have prompts that these are pre-written templates basically that help us. And then resources, these are like the data part of things, right? This is the overall server.py. We will go into the main now, that is the mcp.json, right? So this JSON file, this is where we will start triggering basically the MCP server, and we will see the outputs, how how we can see the outputs based on all the three components, be it prompt, be it resources, be it tools. So let's walk through this for this particular demo. So I have already set it up. right? This inputs part will be empty. From the server part, this is basically the name of the server, right? And the command here, basically we are giving the path of the uv executable that is there, right? So I have given the path, and these arguments are like, in which directory. So for me, this is my root directory, hence I have the directory, right? Now, uh, let's go ahead and understand first the prompts part that we are seeing, right? So this is the prompts underscore server.py, right? This is what, these are the pre-written templates. So this is the part, this is a like a definition that we have using the MCP prompt decorator. Okay, so now if I want to go ahead and understand how this prompting will work, right? So from where do we start? This is your mcp.json, right? And I have already given the prompts underscore server.py in my arguments. I have already passed it. So now I'll do one thing. I'll go ahead and start, right? Let's see what we see. So we see that it is running, right? And I can, now what we will do, we will, in order to test it, right, the prompts, we will go ahead and open our I'll open a new chat. Okay, and here, right, so since this it is running now, the prompts part. So if you do a forward slash, this is the prompt that is coming from the prompts underscore server.py, right? This is to this is basically the prompt. Now the moment I provide the prompt, is it asks me for the values. Now the prompt underscore server is basically how it is designed is like we have three levels. Okay, so this is a Python buddy app that we are building, right? And in this app, we will have different levels of understanding, right? Whether you can be a beginner in Python, you can be an intermediate or an expert, right? So what this prompt will help us, I will show you. So let me pass the value as a beginner, okay? And then I will, press enter. Right. So the moment I did that, so it says that generate 5 Python topics for someone new to programming, right? Numbered from most fundamental to most complex. After listing the topics, ask if they would like to try exercises for any topic, right? So I will send this prompt, okay? And let's see. So you can see it has used a reference. This Copilot instructions is something you can have an instructions.md file, right? And based on this instructions.md file, you will have your curated responses. Copilot uses this, it references this, and that is how you can get your responses. So now for this particular prompt, we found that for beginners, these are the 5 topics, right, that you can focus on. So would you like to try exercises for any of these topics, right? I can help you practice with hands-on coding exercise. So we can go forward and select the topic and proceed with it, right? So that is the prompt part. We can have like multiple iterations of the same, and we can retry it, right? We can try new prompts, we can select any of the options and proceed with it. um, Keeping in mind the time, I will move on to now tools, right? As we saw prompts, now let's move on to tools. So under tools, a so now using tools, what we can do is we can request that if I am a beginner, what type of exercises in Python can you suggest, right? So that I can practice them. So basically this is the data class that was created for this exercises, right? And same, using this prompt decorator, and we have a one prompt decorator, and we can see there are two tool decorators, right? One is this and the other one is this. So now I need to run this. So I will pick this up, tools underscore server.py. I'll go back to my MCP, right? So tools underscore server.py is what I have changed it. And as the moment I change it, you can see that, I get the start option. So once we start, now um, the next thing is I can see, let me start. Yeah, so it has started, it is running. Okay. It still shows me one prompt. Let's give some time. It should show that, it has two tools. Yeah, so you see it populated two tools, right, and one prompt, as we saw in the tools underscore server.py. So now coming to this chat screen, you see that this is the this is the prompt that I see. So to generate exercises, right? So now let me put in the value of one here, right? Okay, exercise one. And the next field, I'm leaving it empty because it is optional. So you see the prompt that it has generated, right? It will show you 5 Python exercises on one for beginner level, right? So if we now, once we like execute this, it will use the Copilot instructions reference. And let's look into the output. So yeah, so topic and generated Python exercises. So we see these are the Python exercises that it generated, right? Along with title, description, hint, solution, and the difficulty levels, right? So this is how we are leveraging the tools decorator to understand or to get various exercises based on Python, based on the difficulty level. Now, the third one is your resources, right? So we have a resources underscore server.py, right? And this also, like, we are defining here the, resources. So there will be two resources that are created. One is to list all the exercises as we see here, right? And there will be one more. Let me go ahead and run it. So under mcp.json, so we have resources underscore server. So if I now just change to resources underscore server, right? And I will start it. Let's have a new chat window. And I see that it is running. It has, so for resources, we click on this attachment, right? And we see MCP resources. So this is where we go ahead and click on it, right? So we have two things here under resources. Number one is to get the study progress. So since you are using your Python Buddy app and you are progressing through all the modules and everything, so there are two resources that can help you. One is to check your progress, and the other one is to list exercises for all the levels, right? So if I click on get study progress, so it asks me for a value for username. So like I will provide the value for the username that is there in this file, right? And here you see that the username is now attached here. Okay. And I can simply ask, what is my progress? Okay. Now it might also say that no progress has been recorded yet, or it can simply say that based on, so yeah, we got the answer, right? Based on your Python study buddy progress. Okay, this is the username beginner, and it gives a date. So it shows what is your progress, how many attempts you have taken, your streak, and so on, right? So this is how we are leveraging the resource where we are trying to understand the progress, as well as we also want to get a list. You can even go ahead and check the list. So under MCP resources, you can select list exercises for level, and you have to give the value of the level, and that is how you can check this. Now, while so these are the three components in a separate way, right? All how they are functioning, I wanted to show. Now, the next thing is how the whole application basically comes together. While we move to the application, so for this demo, right, these are the official SDKs that are available, right? And here we are leveraging Python. So we are proceeding with Python. So first, let's bring this entire application together, right? How we are doing it, and then we will move forward. So for that, give me 1 second. Yeah. Now, the whole application, right, that we are calling it the study buddy application. So this is the file where all of it basically comes together. The server part 2.py, right? So here, if we see, we have the prompts, okay, then we have the tools, we have the prompts, we have the tools, and then we also have, so every decorator that we see for MCP tool, so this is where everything is coming together. And then we have the resources. So now to understand, like to demonstrate the working of the whole application, the body application, we can now go ahead and run this. So under mcp.json, I will replace this resources and I will provide the Python file which has the entire code of entire application setup. And then we go ahead and start it, right? We'll give it some time to run, and then let's see what it shows. Okay, this I can remove. Yeah. So I have started a new chat window. Now here, I will simply say I want to learn Python. Sorry. And let's see what output we get. So you see, it says, welcome to Python Study Buddy application. Let's start by understanding your Python experience level, and this is how we will proceed, right? So you first select, so now we are at the first prompting, right? So in the prompting, you will select your Python topics, and here again, I'll provide beginner, okay? And I get this, right? So you select it, and if you don't select anything, the default is beginner. That is how it is coded, right? So once we give that prompt, now it will say that here are the 5 topics tailored for beginners. Which topic interests you? So you can either reply with the topic number or the exact topic name. So I will say one. That is, I selected variables and data types. Now, we selected variables and data types. Now, the next is we will understand. I am requesting for exercises under this particular variables and data types, right? So, for that, the prompt that we had was generate exercises, right? And then we can copy and paste this entire thing here. Okay. And the next is optional, right? So, this is the prompt that you get. Now, once you push it, let's see what next we see. So here are the exercises that are based on variables and data types under Python, and you see them on your screen, right? Based on difficulty level and everything. And it says that it is creating the exercise files. So now these are the create exercise, this is our MCP server that is actually trying to run the create exercises. So if you go ahead and click on allow, right, so your exercises are ready. To track your learning journey, please share your name. This helps, right? So whatever name you want for your profile, so I have shared my name. So it will run tracking your study progress as well as your to start your study buddy as well, right? There was an error with this. Let's see. So it is asking, may I run this in your terminal? So I will go ahead and then I will say yes. So here basically we will see the whole application coming together. Let's give it some time. Yeah. So we just minimize this and maximize this. So this is how the application shows up in your prompt, in your terminal, right? So it will ask you choose an exercise number, right? So it is choosing one. Then do you need, so okay, so the exercise number is given, and it is saying create a variable named name and assign it to your name as string, then create a variable. So this is basically the problem description. And now I clicked on allow for a hint. So let's see for a hint, right? Okay, and let me give a yes. So the hint they're saying is that use the assignment operator to store values in variables. Strings need quotes around them, right? So basically, I will try and copy my solution here. Yeah. So I have provided this. Now it says that do you want to continue with another exercise? So let's select two. Now it asks about create four variables. So this is how you can go ahead and keep on practicing exercises based on the based on their expertise level, right? This is how it will show up on the screen. And this basically this is how the whole output of the study buddy app will look like. This is the overall, understanding your prompts, your resources, your tools, then how you start with an MCP server, how you build it. And then this was like having an MCP server which is helping us learn Python basically. So this was the overall demo. um, Let me take a pause here. Do we have anything in comments? Okay. Right. So let me move back now to our presentation. So now let's talk about a real world scenario. We'll first walk through these slides. I think there are 3 to 4 slides, and then I will try and show this in our Visual Studio Code. So real world scenario here, we will talk about the Microsoft Learn MCP server, right? So it is like it enables clients like GitHub Copilot and other AI agents to bring in trusted information from your Microsoft Learn, so the official Microsoft Learn documentation. So it will bring in all the information from there, right? That is where how it is on what it is built upon, right? So Microsoft Docs is search, fetch, sample search for code examples, etc. So now here, uh, how do we do it, right? How do we leverage the Microsoft Learn MCP server? So basically, it says step one. You go to GitHub and you access the Learn MCP server using the search tool. Then you ask, so the information that the user asked was, how do I securely deploy a containerized application to Azure using Bicep and GitHub Actions? And it said validate the deployment pattern. So the moment you asked, you see the Learn MCP server is running, and it is running the Microsoft Docs search, right? So once you have the information, you can see it will create all the files for you. And it will even describe once it's completed, it will even describe, right, what you have done. So also you can even go back and ask, describe how you use the Learn MCP server. That would give you further details into it. So now the same thing, let's have a quick hands on for this. So I will open a new Visual Studio, um, Visual Studio Code, and here first, so I can go ahead and look for any information, but why I want it to be precise. So I will just go ahead and create a instructions MD, so that I know that it will use the Learn MCP server itself. So under here settings, we can go ahead and add chat instructions, right? So file, I will just put it under my name, location. A new instructions file, select the location is this, sorry, didn't work the last time, and then I'll put a name. So this is what it is. I copy the content from the Microsoft doc, right? So this is now my instructions.md, which tells Copilot that go ahead and leverage learn Microsoft learn MCP Microsoft Learn MCP server, right? Let me put in this question itself, like how to create a Microsoft Foundry instance using Azure CLI, and let's see how it leverages DMD file, right? So I'll go ahead and just put this. So it used this MD file that I used as reference, correct? And read Azure instructions and search Foundry information from your, this is where we see, right? It is using the Microsoft Learn MCP server. Just a prerequisite, a Microsoft Learn MCP server is an extension in Visual Studio Code. So you need to go ahead and enable that before, you want to leverage this. So uh, that was a real world example of how we are leveraging the Learn MCP server. We can even describe how you use the Learn MCP server. We can even go ahead and try that prompt to see so this is completed. So you can simply ask, as we see here, right, it has gone to the Microsoft Learn MCP server. So I'll put in the whole Microsoft Learn MCP server. Let's see what information we get from that. It says that it leverages it through a three-tool workflow designed to provide accurate information. So you can even go ahead and ask Copilot itself about the MCP server that it is leveraging for your knowledge, right? So this is what we tried to cover in the real world scenario, right? Summarizing the solution and process, and this is what I just demonstrated. Now let's understand the Microsoft model context protocol at Microsoft, how we are leveraging it. And so basically we see that it has come from Entropic, and the protocol, the MPC server, it is the MCP enables seamless integration, right, between your LLMs and your external data sources. Now this is the model context protocol, sorry, this has to be MCP, it's mistaken. Next is you build your local and remote MCPs. So we have leveraged SDKs to build to demonstrate you the local the app that we built, the Python buddy app, right, Python learning buddy app. So we use various SDKs. It is compatible with Python, C# and so many. You can use Azure API management as well to achieve the same. Azure functions, Microsoft connectors, these are all available to accelerate the productivity. Then tools, as we saw, right, it works with GitHub, it works with Azure, it works with Azure AI Foundry. You can even include leverage it, and for things you want to do with your Microsoft Teams, and so on and so forth, right? Then there is a registry as well, which is available for MCP, right? Enterprise, Community, and Windows. And at the top, the various clients and hosts are. Copilot Studio is, of course, it's there. We did leverage VS Code, in this entire demo session, in our demo session. Then the Azure Foundry agent is also there, right? We have Visual Studio, we have Windows, and so on, right? So this is the whole picture of how MCP is helping accelerate productivity, and building local and remote MCP servers at Microsoft, right? Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the GitHub MCP registry. So here you will find, mostly servers and tools from the community, right? It was launched recently. You will find it under github.com/MCP, right? So it will work with any MCP compatible host, including GitHub Copilot. So you can go ahead, check this repository, check this registry, and try and understand it. With this, I think, give me 1 second. Yeah, I think that is all from my side. Do we? I do not see anything in comments. Is there anything from anyone you want to ask? Just feel free to put it in, I think, the comment section of the live streaming, and I'll be happy to answer or help or assist. Also, just want to call out, if yeah, I also want to call out one more thing. So as we went through this, so this is the tutorial that I had walked you through today, right? We completed our part one, part two. This was the Study Buddy app, right? That we tried to leverage, the end to end, how it is all coming together. We also have a AI researcher app, right? Where you build your own MCP server using this AI research learning hub. I would encourage you to go ahead and walk yourselves through this, understand how it will work, build your own MCP server, because all of the code and all of the details are already mentioned, right? I can just since we have time, I can give an overview. So basically, the mcp.json, that we whenever we are working with VS Code, right? How do you set it up? We will have a mcp.json, correct? So this is the, like, here we have three MCP servers. One is Hugging Face, one is GitHub, and one is the AI research hub that that we are building basically. So all these three, this entire portion will, you will copy it and you will come back here, and this mcp.json that you see, okay, you will replace it here with this entire content. Now, if you want to leverage Hugging Face as well, all you have to do is, go ahead and log into it, register, and then once you have an account, you will be authorized to it. So you need to have a bearer token basically. So this is the configuration from the MCP side. Now, as the name suggests, right, AI research hub. So basically, there are few management systems that are built, right? It will so it has a workflow. I would let's see, let me see if I can get that workflow. Yeah, so basically this is the workflow. So as the name suggests, so it helps you, like, you can go ahead and put any research topic that you want to and any research topic that you are doing. Then it will go ahead and it will look for those research topics in Hugging Face papers, right? It will also get you GitHub search, okay, GitHub repos. It will go ahead and search. Then there will be, you can add your findings, update your research status, and also then there is a dashboard that can help you, right? You can ask, once you run this, you will be able to see options like, what was I researching on. So it will go ahead and give you the history of your research, on what topic were you researching on, and so on. So it can also be like implemented the same way I explained the Python buddy app. You just have to modify the mcp.json and go ahead and, if you want to leverage the full functionality, go ahead and get the token from Hugging Face. And then it is the same. You need to understand the prompt, and how this entire application is basically working. So yeah, that was all from my side. Few last minute call outs. Today's tutorial we use for Python. Similarly, you will find for JavaScript, TypeScript, and I think C sharp as well. So feel free to go ahead and explore those content. There are more trainings under MCP for beginners. Then Microsoft Learn MCP server. We have VS Code MCP for VS Code support. MCP itself, Model Context Protocol.io. And then there is also an online AI community, which is a Discord community. Go ahead and, like become a member of that and stay connected. So, that, you can go ahead and, contribute to the entire community as well as learn from it. And this is the session feedback form. So you can go ahead and also provide your feedback. This is a survey for the feedback. um, give me 1 second, I will stop sharing. Thank you from my side for joining the session today. Look forward to connect, and if anyone wants to reach out, you can find me on LinkedIn and I'll be happy to help.